What's going on, guys? I just wrapped up shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor 1500 yards. I've got my target set up here. If you haven't seen that video with the Uinta precision rifle, be sure to go check it out. What I'm going to do at this point, we're going to take my Tikka T3x chambered in 243 Winchester. I'm shooting 87 grain Hornady Vmax bullets. I'm shooting varmint bullets, and we're going to attempt to shoot 1500 yards. They're coming out about 3,200 feet a second. It's got a .400 ballistic coefficient. This is 60 yards beyond what their transonic zone should be. We're going to find out what happens when you push them beyond that. So I'm excited to see the results. I have no idea if this is going to hit anything or if they're just going to start flying all over the place. One way to find out, let's go ahead and back out. Now, the data I came up with for this rifle, I set to barometric pressure and adjusted for temperature and also the altitude of where I'm at. And it's calling for 48 MOA up, so we're going to go ahead and dial that in. Interestingly enough, that's what my other chart called for in the 6.5 Creedmoor. And I double checked, it is a separate chart for it. But we did have to adjust farther up, so I'm wondering if this one's going to have to be adjusted farther up as well, because I don't think this little 243 bullet would keep up with the 6.5 Creedmoor at 1500 yards. So I've got my SWFA Super Sniper. Now 48 minutes is a piece of cake on these because you're going to do 3 rotations up and then 3 minutes. So now we're at 48 minutes. The SWFA has proven to track awesome. I really like it. The clicks are nice and all that. It does have the MOA quad reticle, probably my favorite reticle that I've seen to date. It's not cluttered, but it's got hash marks up the top, down the bottom, and down each side, and it makes calling your misses super easy, and you can dial them in piece of cake. As far as ammunition goes, this is a varmint bullet. When you shoot it at an egg, it is already expanded by the time it comes out the back side. If you watch the egg challenges with the Social Regressive or myself, they detonate on the impact of an egg. So I'm really curious just how far these are actually going to fly. I mean, this is shooting a varmint round 1500 yards. Now, having said that, it's a very aerodynamic round, and for a 1 to 10 twist barrel, I gotta say, you gotta try them out in a 243. They work awesome. So I'm gonna get set up, get all comfortable behind the gun, and then we're gonna start shooting and just see how these bullets do out at long range. Only one way to find out. The disadvantage my Tikka has out in the desert, the barrel gets hot. 243 is known to be quite warm, and with this real thin sporter barrel on the Tikka, they just get hot. That's how it is. So we'll take our time and shoot when we can. I do have a Burris bubble level on my SWFA Super Sniper fixed 20 power. Tikka T3x stock trigger. I adjusted the butt pad. I put a Kydex cheek riser on it. That's all I've done. It's got a cheap bipod on the front. It's got a whip machine clamp on muzzle brake. Those things work awesome. Helps reduce muzzle rise, so when I'm shooting this far away, I can stay on target. We're probably looking at a 1.5 2 second flight time out here. The 6.5 Creedmoor definitely had a delay, but it's a little slower than the 243 is to start with. Let's go ahead and send a few. Wow. Very low. We'll put another 12 in it. That data I have just isn't that good out here. I'd really like to shoot a few in a row without changing anything and see if they hold together. Saw dust just low and right. I think these things are holding together. So I think the wind may have picked up at some point down the range, and it's taken me off about 2.5 minutes. So I'm actually aiming at the left plate, and they're hitting on the right plate. I'm just not sure out here. Let's go back to the targets, take a look at the paint, see if we hit anything or see if we've been shooting dirt the whole time. Whether I hit the target or not, it's very interesting to see how they've been grouping, and honestly, they've been grouping pretty well. So they've been hitting off to the right, but they're within like a 15-inch circle of the right. I mean, they've been shooting really well. These little tiny varmint bullets can fly 1,500 yards, and I think they do it pretty accurately. As long as you got the shooter behind it to do it and you put in your adjustments correctly, I think you could hit at 1,500 yards with these little 243 bullets. Let's go check it out. All right, we'll give it one last bullet with my good camera on the zoom cam. This barrel's smoking hot. It was still grouping well hot, even this far away. 1.5 minutes low. Right in there. We ended up with 65 minutes of elevation put into the scope. Made it back to the targets. There are no impacts on them. However, I did find an 87 Vmax all crumpled up. I'm gonna get back and weigh that and see what its weight retention is. But shooting this far, the wind had picked up downrange. There are a few divots over here. I could see the dust hitting over here, and it was consistently hitting over there. I'm pretty sure if I just had more ammo and more time, I could eventually get some impacts on there, but I did run out of ammo. I only brought about 15 rounds with me. I think it's possible. I personally didn't do it today in pretty good conditions, but they do fly out here, and I think they still group pretty decent out here. It's interesting to see what these exactly will do out at extreme distance. I mean, 1,500 yards with a little tiny varmint bullet, that's pretty respectable. They were landing consistently. I don't know what to say as far as misses. I could see the dust trace off to the right, but the wind was out here and it was messing with me again. That damn wind, it always gets me. Appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry there weren't any impacts in this one, but it's all educational. Now you know what happens when you shoot one of these little guys really far away. Appreciate your time. We'll talk to you later.